welcome to Consultant's Corner. I'm Rebecca Brizi. This is my corner. I am a consultant. And yes, he did it again. There is another Elon Musk email. Following on my video from a couple weeks ago, which we discussed a first Elon Musk email to the employees at Twitter. Soon after that, a second email arrived, which also had a number of clients reaching out to me saying, huh? I repeat the disclaimer from my previous email. I am not here to comment on Elon Musk and whether he will be successful at Twitter or not. He has been successful in building businesses in the past. I'm sure he will do so again in the future. At Twitter, possibly. What I do want to do is examine this email in the context of small businesses and their employees. Here's a copy of that email with some keywords highlighted, such as hardcore, long hours at high intensity, exceptional performance, passing grade, and decide by tomorrow. Here's the problem with the word hardcore. It doesn't mean anything. It's so vague, which means that you cannot prove whether you are being hardcore or not, which means that it can be used against you at any time. I don't like your work, you're not being hardcore enough. You only work 16 hours? I want 20, you're not being hardcore enough. You didn't do exactly what I thought you would do? Not hardcore. There's no specific explanation of what is expected in terms of hardcore. It just appears and is this thing that can be used to drive employees to work too hard, to not understand exactly what's expected of them, so be able to function under a cloud of anxiety. It's not good communication to your employees, and if you are the employee, it is not good communication from your employer. Same thing with long hours at high intensity. It's something that once it has been said can be used to tell you, hey, I warned you, you're gonna have to work long hours at high intensity. You're not allowed to be burnt out. You're not allowed to be tired. You're not allowed to take time off. You're not allowed to complain about any of this because, hey, I told you it was gonna happen. Exceptional performance, okay, sort of same thing. I mean, it just means that it's whatever the boss that day deems as exceptional. It can depend on his moods, his favorites, his people who bought him a beer last night. And passing grade. Passing grade? We're not at school. And your boss is in some ways, of course, an authority figure, but not in the terms of a teacher over a pupil. In all honesty, it comes across as condescending. When I'm working with a small business, I always talk about that dialogue, right, between employer and employee, which means that there is a relationship of equals between employer and employee. That doesn't mean that there's not a reporting line. There is a reporting line, but the employer is not superior to the employee. They're just in different positions in the organization. The employer will always have something to learn from the employee. The employee will always be better at something than the employer is. And of course, decide by tomorrow. Well, just reference the previous video to know how I feel about overnight decisions. In short, this type of communication allows the boss to rule with absolute power because there is nothing that any employee can say to hold that employer accountable. It is all a question of opinion, and the only opinion that matters with this communication is that of the boss. He can use that to either support or undermine whatever he feels like supporting or undermining that day without any form of upward accountability. Yes, there are people who will thrive in that environment. If you are a small business owner, you don't want those people. You want people who can come and take ownership of their work, who can tell you when they're wrong, who can tell you when you're wrong, and with whom you can have that dialogue and a relationship built on trust. Small business owners give guidance to your employees, but also let your employees advise you in their area of expertise. Learn from one another.